So as you may have seen, we're going to dedicate this evening's service to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May her memory be for a blessing. And one of the things that I'd like to ask you all to do now, so it's better to get up now than later, is if you have a talit somewhere in the house, if you would get it so that when we get to Hashkivenu, you can shelter beneath its wings. If you don't, we still hope that you'll enjoy Hashkivenu, but it'll just, I wish we could all be under multiple talits in the synagogue. So we're going to start this evening with the Sabbath prayer from Fiddler on the Roof.
May the Lord protect and defend you. May God always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen us, O Lord, and keep us from the stranger's ways. May God bless you and grant you long life.
Fulfill our Sabbath prayer for you.
May God keep you and shield you from strife.
God in God's wisdom always care for you.
May the Lord protect and defend
May the Lord protect and defend
May God always shield you from
May God always shield you from shame.
Favor us, O Lord, with happiness and peace. Oh, hear our Sabbath prayer. Amen. May the Lord protect and defend you.
And with that, we're going to ask Rob and Ash, who is actually in our synagogue, to bring in the lights of Shabbat. So if we can see Robin, there you go.
Hold on, Robin, I have to unmute you.
For those of you who are able, please rise. If you have your own candlesticks, please light along with Robin. She's too young.
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, Robin. Thank you so much for bringing in the lights of Shabbat.
We're not muted. Okay.
Now that we have the lights of Shabbat lit, our next is to welcome in the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi. Even though you're muted, feel free to sing along.
Lecha Dodi lekrat kala Bnei Shabbat mekabala Lecha Dodi lekrat kala Bnei Shabbat mekabala Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela. Verse 1. Shamot Zizachor B'dibor echad, Ishme'anu Echad Adonai echad Shemo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'tilah. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela. Verse 2. Lekrat Shabbat Lekrat Benecha, Lihim Kol HaBracha, Merosh Mekerem En Sukkot, V'Tzedek B'Machshvat Tekilah. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela. Verse 5. Itoreri, Itoreri, Kivarech, Uri, 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 Shir Shabbat, Kavod Adonai Halai Yiknikla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela. Next slide, and if you'll stand, if you are able, to welcome the Sabbath bride with verse 9. Oh, be shalom, ahaterech alav, gan b'simcha, u'zola, toch emunei am sugula, boi chala, boi chala. And together. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikavela. And I can picture our dear friends welcoming and into our synagogue, into our homes, closing the door so that we are a community. And now we are going to move again. If you are able to stand for the Baruch, that would be lovely. And then we'll move into the Ma'ariv. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai Amevorach Adonai. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Ha'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Ha'ed.
One of the things that I love about our stories and our prayers is that they help us separate one space from another, one time from another. With Ma'ariv, we separate our seasons and we separate day from night. And as we know, our seasons have just shifted, at least in the secular calendar, to fall. We're still not quite there for our Hebrew calendar. So if you read along with us, even though we can't hear you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvituna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishrotehem barakia kirtzona. Borei yom v'layla, golel mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umabdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch, aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We now move on to the Shema. And again, for those of you who are able to stand, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuta Leolam. Please be seated. I will now ask David to read the Vahavta in English. And the Vahavta is particularly poignant this evening because our Parsha repeats some of this as Moses prepares to take his leave of the children of Israel as they prepare to enter Israel. David?
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God.
And we say together, Adonai Elohechem Emet. We turn now to Micha Mocha. One of the things that I've always loved about Micha Mocha is the idea that while we may not have to cross a literal sea each and every day or every week, we all have the challenges that we have to be able to challenge and cross. And so as we sing Micha Mocha, and you sing along, even though we can't hear you, think about what challenges you crossed and what challenges you have yet to cross.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nehedar B'Kodesh. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nehedar B'Kodesh. Norate Lord, oh say who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Nichamocha ba'elim Adonai.
And I have faith that you have crossed into that next space. So we're now moving into Hashkivenu, and if you were able to find a talit, spread it over those who are with you, spiritually and physically, as we sing the Hashkivenu that also includes the Shelter Us Beneath Thy Wings.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom. Ve'amidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shalomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shalomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
May you always find shelter beneath those wings. And we turn now to the tefillah and the Amidah, the standing prayer. We chant together the Avot and the Giverot, and then we pray silently, and I will bring you back together with the Ritzeh. Remember that there's a choreography to the tefillah. We take 3 steps backwards as if we are preparing ourselves to ask for what we need and to approach Adonai. And then we take 3 steps forward as we do that.
We have our own little lead in we like to do here.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 Adonai. La 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 ta ti ta. La 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 fi aki.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Olam Adonai, V'chayei Metim Atah V'Loshia, Morid Atah, Mechakeh Chayim B'Chesed, V'chayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somek Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Milchamocha Bal Givorot, Umidomelach, Melech Memid, Umechayei, Umatziach Yeshua, V'nehemana lechayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'cho yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. And now give you a moment to pray what's in your heart. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu B'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam b'ahava tekabel U'tehilel ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha. Baruch atah Adonai. She'otecha livadcha v'yira. Nahavot, nahavot, nahavot. Please be seated. And we join in Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Adon Melech Adon Le'ol HaShalom. Ki
אתה ומחדו לך השלום. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. בכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Ha'arinu, Devarim 32. May their memory be for a blessing. Moses and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. Give ear, O heavens, let me speak. Let the earth hear the words I utter. May my discourse come down as rain, my speech distill as the dew, like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. And when Moses finished reciting all these words to all Israel, he said to them, take to heart all the words with which I have warned you this day. Enjoin them upon your children, that they may observe faithfully all the terms of this teaching. For this is not a trifling thing for you. It is your very life. Through it you shall long endure on the land that you are to possess upon crossing the Jordan. As we entered Rosh Hashanah evening, many of us had just learned that Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away at the age of 87. And like so many of you, and perhaps not unlike the Israelites who faced the next stage of their journey without the leadership of Moses, I felt totally bereaved, frightened, and even angry. I silently shouted out to God in light of COVID-19, fires, hurricanes, a high-stakes election, and the death of too many of our Black citizens. You couldn't have waited till after the election? What's next? Don't you know what's at stake? And haven't we suffered enough? And judging by the hundreds of people who came to the steps of the Supreme Court to mourn, I was not alone. And there was some comfort in our services, in our community, and in our traditions. Images of the notorious RBG filled my inbox and social media sites. Many posts spoke to the tradition of recognizing that those who die at the outset of Rosh Hashanah are tzaddikim. As Molly Conway wrote, when we say that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a tzaddeket, the feminine form of tzaddik, we don't just mean she was a nice person. What we're saying is that she was a thoughtful person who worked tirelessly to create a more just world, one that would perpetuate equality and access, one that wasn't reliant on charity, one that was better for people she did not know, without the expectations of praise or fame. That is what it means to be a tzaddiket. And I can't think of anyone who better embodies the pursuit of justice. When asked about her legacy, RBG stated, quote, to make life a little better for people less fortunate than you. That's what I think a meaningful life is. One lives not just for oneself, but for one's community. As such, we not only recognize Ruth Bader Ginsburg for her righteous behavior, for her giving of herself to serve others. But we are enjoined by her words and actions to take to heart her teaching as we move forward. Now, I must admit that Moses' final poem in our Parsha, a lengthy diatribe of warnings and threats to the Israelites and to our enemies, is not my favorite Parsha. And it doesn't bring me great comfort, nor do I believe that what we face in 2020 is because we have been spurned by Adonai for our bad behavior. Yet I do recognize the ways in which our teachings can support us and help us build a better world, as well as the ways in which I must take personal responsibility, pursue teshuvah, and give tzedakah. Similarly, while Ruth Bader Ginsburg's persistent and brave efforts to seek and attain justice, to fight for the rights of all people to be recognized as B'Tselem Elohim, equally made in the image of God, are not complete, she had a tremendous impact on moving us in the right direction. Nor was she intimidated by power or destroyed by the fight she did not win. Indeed, some of her most powerful statements were her dissenting opinions, as she commented. Quote, dissents speak to a future age. It's not simply to say my colleagues are wrong and I would do it this way, but the greatest dissents do become court opinions, and gradually, over time, their views become the dominant view. So that's the dissenters' hope, that they are writing not for today, but for tomorrow. In our opening song, Sabbath Prayer from Fiddler on the Roof, while we typically sang, May you be like Ruth and like Esther, two of our brave women of the Bible, you may have noticed that instead of Ruth and Esther, we mentioned Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And each and every time I sing that song now, I will think of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who has indeed become in Yisrael a shining name, and who, like Moses, worked until her final moments to repair the world, even if she didn't get to see it realized. But as Conway also reminds us, when we say, may her memory be for a blessing, the blessing we speak of is not, may we remember her fondly, although we do, or may her memory be a blessing to us. The blessing that is implied is this: may you be like Ruth. Jewish thought teaches us that when a person dies, it is up to those who bear her memory to keep her goodness alive. We do this by remembering her. We do this by speaking her name. We do this by carrying on her legacy. We do this by continuing to pursue justice, righteousness, sustainability. May her memory be for a blessing. May her memory be for revolution. May we become a credit to her name. And perhaps that is what Moses was asking of us too, as in God's name, he commanded us to take his words to heart. Shabbat Shalom. With that in mind, we turn to those in need of healing. I'm going to read some names, and David, if you can get the chat going, we'll also look there. All right. We send thoughts of strength and healing to Mason Forster, to Neil Branston, to Sheila Sugarman, Adrian Brown, Marion Blumberg, Monica Gershenson, Kay Knutson, Carl Saperstein, Benjamin Uden, Alexis Rosenberg Foreman, may you continue to heal, Mirnaz Halimi, Millie Birch, James Burks, Mario, we are thrilled to have you with us. May you continue to gain in strength. Kash Malik, Aaron Saberi, Marcia Cass, Cara Keeley Frampton, Marty Zimmerman, Wendy Phoenix, David Ash, Morgan Phoenix. I would add my own mother, Lori Suffren, and who else do we have?
From the chat, thank you everybody for contributing. Carol Hepper, Stanley Carter, Victoria and Peter Ulbrich, Lynn Snyder, Trevor Snyder, Sky Snyder, Sarah Snyder. This is definitely a family Misha
Strength
Berach.
and healing.
Dennis Matat, Ann Jackson, you'll let him in. Ida Brody, Tony Maynard, Yael Amir, Ann Aurelio. I hope I pronounced everybody's name properly. Thank you for all your contributions.
And again, may this song and its melody bring them strength and healing.
Mi
Sheberach Avoteinu before habracha leimoteinu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Bechor Habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We now turn to some announcements. And I'm going to read a few, and then Bob, if you're in with us, if you're there, I think you said you had a couple of announcements as well.
Yes, I do.
All right, so I'm going to start with what I have here. So tomorrow morning, thank you, Robin Ash is going to be leading Torah study at 9 a.m., and I saw her working diligently the other night, so I think those of you who participate will have a wonderful learning opportunity. Sunday, the 27th, we come back together for Family Kol Nidre service, live in your cars on location at 4 p.m. at the First Baptist Church of Fair Oaks. We had a lovely Rosh Hashanah family service there. This is at 4401 San Juan Avenue. That'll be followed by our Kol Nidre service for adults Sunday evening, which will start at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube. And then on Monday at 10 a.m., we start our marathon with the Yom Kippur services. There will be breaks throughout the day. There will be learnings that will be happening, and I'm excited about those. And then we will come together again to break our fast at around 6:30. And then Tuesday, because things don't just stop with Yom Kippur, we have morning coffee at 9 a.m. Bob, would you like to share?
Yeah, I would. I would just like to say thank you to people for sharing your financial gifts during these high holy days. We've had a very low-keyed approach to the appeal, and everything about the high holy days has really been non-traditional. But as Sheree was saying, there is something very traditional about our synagogue, and that is our commitment to Tikkun Olam and social justice. And when we think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, when we think about the participation that many of us have had in the marches, in the letter writing, and supporting the food closet, I realize that we are an amazingly active synagogue when it comes to social justice. And I appreciate that everyone has participated. We'll be bringing food for the drive-through sukkah, and that food will go to the food closet. And if you want to at that time, you can drop off a check for the High Holy Days Pledge, and you can either give that for the education program or for the general programs of the synagogue. Again, one of the really good things about our synagogue is people have kept up with their dues, and we're really grateful to everyone that is paying their dues monthly or quarterly, and that really helps us. But as you know, traditionally or non-traditionally, expenses go on, and we need to meet those expenses. So again, just a thank you to everyone and blessing as we move through these high holy days. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, before we leave announcements, I'd like to say one thing. I see Meryl Shader there in our gallery view. Meryl, I want to thank you personally in front of everyone here for providing a wonderful play. It's called Jonah on Trial. I think I'm the only one on this particular call that had anything to do with that production. If I'm wrong, well, Sheree, you know.
Well, maybe.
But I thought we did a very nice rendition, directed by Mr. Kornfeld, and we did it on Zoom, and it'll be part of Monday's proceedings. So please check it out. We had fun doing it. We hope that you will enjoy the presentation.
And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our wonderful tech support, Rick Snyder, who made life so much easier. And of course, I have to thank Natasha, the cat, who just also makes life much easier. So if you will, please rise if you are able for Aleinu. Picture yourself in front of our open ark. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goya haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachat hadama, shelo sam kakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'maldim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. Shehu notesh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, v'yoshev v'karov b'shamayim yimahal, ushkinatu zo, v'govei miromim, Hu Eloheinu einod, Emet Malkeinu efesulato, Kakatu b'torato, v'yadat hayom, v'hashivota, Elivabecha, Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, B'shamayim yimal, v'haaretz, מתחת עינות, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. Please be seated. As we enter Mourner's Kaddish, I have asked David to read a particular meditation that's in our Siddur, but which we don't normally read. And I chose this one because it really spoke to me of how we might think about Kaddish in relation to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, David?
It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company of those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone now must become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose.
I will first read the names of those who have passed in the last 11 months. If I read someone who is known or dear to you, please rise. And David will check in the chat once I'm done to see if we've missed anyone. Robert Achtel, Benita Pascual, Clara Segura de Amiras, Thomas Hammond, Sharon Lieberhout-Tivsky, William Rochford, Carolyn Elder, Robert Alexander Ginsberg, Samuel Episoa Segura, Warren Weinstock, Phil Rosenberg, Raquel Bienvenida Habib Segura, Stephen Henry McCoy, Gerard Rosenberg, Rebecca Habib Segura de Apisoa, Brian Ginsberg, Bella Berkovich, Lori Melkin Zidell, Herb Glassman, Samuel Alberto Apisoa, Sandra Zales, Kathy Klein, and Alberto Arab Cohen. Are there any other recent losses or deaths?
I see no new chats, so I will presume the answer to that is no.
All right. And then we go on to those who are celebrating their yahrzeits. Hilda Smith Berkman, Morris Brennan, Abraham Alderson, Helen Cortland, Charles Dinitz, Frida Dressner, Daniel Flank, Rosalie Hessing, Thomas Natoli, Eloise Schwartz, Bina Spielberg, Daniel Tenenbaum, Lawrence Wilson, Harry Wynn, and Hazel Coulden. Are there any other yahrzeits?
Again, it appears not.
We also notice those who have died in battles, in the streets, and in wars not of their own making. And we ask that you rise as one people as we say, Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing, and may we truly live their legacies. And we say together, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, v'alma divrach Yerute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye decho beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach v'alam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei dekudesha berachu. Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Ose shalom v'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. V'yakol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Please be seated. To close, we're going to ask Rick to play this wonderful video, and then we'll have Bob and Holly lead us in the blessing over the wine and the challah. This particular video is from the 92Y organization. It was actually done last year for 5780, but I think it speaks to us now in 5781, and I'm hoping it'll prepare us for the rest of our high holy days. So take it away, Rick.
That is the sound of renewal. Hear that? That is the sound of repair. How does the new year call you? What gives you pride and regret? Do you hear that? This is how we reset. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I'm waking up. It's time to search my deeds. Where have I stumbled? How can I redirect my broken lost? That's how I need that. Down truth in the world that is always What's right now? You got story now. Life is not really true. No one's happy to say. Right here in this moment, we can make this happen.
So I'm going to invite Bob and Holly back to do the blessings for the wine and challah. While they're getting ready, there you go. All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, folks.
And thank
Appreciate
you
it.
all for joining us.